And greetings everyone from Lights and Gear. Another new flashlight is on the review table today, and this is new from Lumintop. What they've been doing lately is they've been presenting very small EDC flashlights with Anduril software, or firmware as it is. And some time ago there was another new Lumintop light, the FW3A, which I have videos for, and there was also an Astrolux light not too long ago, which also had Anduril firmware. So this is the latest, and again it's Lumintop, and this is the EDC18. It comes in a couple of different LED configurations. I believe every light will have 3 LEDs, as this one does, but as you can see here, this has Nichia LEDs. You can also get one with, I believe there's one with XPL high LEDs. So as I say, there are a couple of different configurations you can get. The XPL will be of a much higher color temperature, and of course it will be cool white. Here with the Nichia, we have a more or less of a warm white light, because these are about 4000 K as far as the color temperature goes. You're not going to see much from this box. This is just the outer box anyway, but that reveals the inner box, as is common with Lumintop. But again, here you won't see much of anything either, except a very plain box. So here's the instruction manual, which is pretty extensive, and here's the flashlight, which is very small, just under 4 inches, about 3.9 inches long or tall. Also in the package, not too much here, a couple of spare O-rings. I believe when I got the light, the pocket clip was off, so it was part of the package here. Pocket clip took a minute to get on because it's very tight here on the bottom. But anyway, this is it. Has a flat bottom, so it tail stands very well. And here's the switch on the side, of which of course controls everything. And here are your LEDs, of which there are 3, and these are the Nichia 219C. So as we look at the manual here for a moment, because as I say, this has the Anduril firmware, and if you've seen any of the other videos with that firmware, you know that it's pretty extensive as far as what you can do with it, and it is completely customizable to the desires of the user. So there's a lot you can change here as far as what the flashlight does. It does take a single 18650 as its power source, and it does recommend unprotected flat top batteries from Samsung, Panasonic, etc. I did try a couple of protected batteries in it first, and basically they're too long due to the protection circuit. So you may have difficulty if you don't have unprotected batteries to use in it. I would suggest you do get some unprotected if you don't already have them to use. There's actually something in the manual here which briefly mentions the smaller cells, 13 18350s and also 16340s. It mentions them in here as far as their voltages are concerned, but I have a whole bunch of those, and every battery I tried would not fit. It just protrudes too far to the bottom of the light so that the cap does not go on completely. So again, pretty much an 18650 is all you're going to use in this light, and that's pretty much all you'd want to use anyway. There is a lot to say on this particular flashlight because of the Anduril firmware. There are so many modes and so many blinking modes, 2 sets of blinking modes, as is common on the other lights. I believe it was the first Lumintop, the FW3A, which on that video I went into great detail about what all the flashing modes are. And I can run it down quickly here as well, but as you can see, this this manual just keeps opening up and opening up and opening up to other sheets, and to try to explain everything properly. As I was mentioning a moment ago, I mean, there's so many settings on here. There's a momentary mode, and it has the two user interfaces already built in. It can step and it can ramp, so you can set it to either one of those, and the one it comes with, the default setting, is the ramping. So that's what you get as soon as you put a battery in. And it has the Muggle Mode, which has been described in the other flashlights as well, as something where you might lend the light to someone and you don't want them blinding themselves or starting a fire by turning it up on high and leaving it on or something. So the Muggle Mode gives the user a very low operating temperature and a lower output, so they're not left with too much of a flashlight that they can't handle. And as far as the other blinking modes goes, there's the battery check, the sunset mode, the beacon mode, the temperature check. As far as the strobes go, there's the lightning storm, which was described in the other reviews as well, where it depicts a very active night as far as the weather might be in your area. Tactical strobe, party strobe, bike flash, and so forth. That's what the Anduril firmware can offer, is just a great deal of modes to as either a conversation piece or just something to have fun with. But anyway, we haven't really talked about the flashlight, of course, itself. So with the cap off here, you can see the spring down there, and up in the top of the head here are the basic electronics. Now I have another battery here which actually fits very well. This is the Golisi, and this is an IMR, so basically flat top, and this battery fits very well, as you can see there. But for the purposes of the demonstration, and I'll take one of these standard 30Q standard 30Q batteries from Samsung. So of course these fit incredibly well as well, just like the Golisi does. By the way, you have some nice threading here on the bottom of the light, and it's pretty well greased. So as soon as you put the battery in, you get the little green illuminator here on the switch to show that it has power. And I had another battery in here which was running low, getting down close to 3 volts, and this had not changed in any way, shape, or form. It was still illuminating in green, and it does so the entire time there's a battery in there. Now, of course, if you didn't want that, you could unscrew the cap or unscrew the top, the head, or anything like that to turn that off, but there doesn't seem to be any indication that it actually draws much of any battery voltage having it on. So anyway, as you see there, I just barely even turned the cap, and the light went off. So that's something you can do if you don't want it on all the time, particularly if you have it beside your bed or whatever. But so one of the handy things about the firmware is that you can check the battery voltage at any time just by pressing the button 3 times, and then you get a blink out, of course, of it. 1, 2, 3, wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, so there it's blinking 4.2 on the battery right away. So that's your battery voltage indicator, and you can look at that at any time, of course. So let's turn the light off here so we can have a look at the beam of the Nichia LEDs. I always want to try to pronounce that properly if I can. So let me turn the light off here. And so right away you get this is a very nice beam. And oh, by the way, it also comes, actually I'm sorry, I forgot that it comes with a diffuser. That is one of the things that you also get in the light, and I completely forgot. Oh, here it is right here. I had put it aside, that's why I didn't notice it. Because there's a picture on the website of where I have my written review using of the light using the diffuser. So anyway, here's the diffuser. So it was also in the package. And little white cap, as it were. So it goes over the top of the light thusly, and then of course you get nice diffused light out of it. So that's the one accessory which I did forget to mention, so I apologize. Anyway, let me take the diffuser off, and of course once you do, it illuminates in green for a little while. So let me turn the light back on here. So there we go. All right, we are back and running here with the diffuser off. So you have the standard modes which the light comes with. This is right now in the ramped setting. So of course as soon as I press the button it will start to ramp up and down. So I'm in the ramped setting here, and as you press the button of course it will go up and then all the way down, and it will have a couple of markings as you get about halfway through to indicate that it's at the half, and then to indicate when you get to the top that it's also reached the top. So there's your top output, and I didn't mention yet that this is supposed to be about 2800 lumens, and it's starting to already get incredibly hot to hold near the top of the light as soon as it gets up to that turbo. So with a lot of small lights like this, that's one thing to keep aware of, is that it does start to get hot immediately as soon as it reaches that top output. But there is a slow decline in output, I believe, after a timed number of seconds, certainly less than a minute. It should start to lower itself a little bit so that the intense heat does not do any damage to the LED. And then it has the reverse effect here, so while you're going up and down, if you just stop for a second, it'll go in the opposite direction. But then of course if you stop and leave it for a little while longer and then press it again, it'll continue going in the direction it was going before. And you honestly can't believe how incredibly hot this little head is already getting. But that's just one thing to be aware of with small lights like this. But the beam is so very nice, and if you can tell on this, you may not be able to tell the tint too well, but it's so beautifully it's just so nice because it doesn't it just fades so effortlessly into the spill, and so I think you can get a handle on that, just how nice it is. There's no particular hot spot. And even if you put the diffuser on, that even widens it out or softens it out even more. So anyway, if I change it to the stepped, which is very easy to do, you just click it 3 times and then it just gives you a little blink. Now I'm going to have the stepped outputs on here, and they are already preset at 7, so there are 7 modes on the stepping right away. So that's what I have on here now. I can change that. I can change it to many more settings, many more steps if you want to, or you can decrease it, because just like the other lights that have the same firmware, you can actually set up to 150 different steps on it if you want. They'd be practically infinitesimal, but as far as the difference between each one, but that's just something you can do. Or you can make it as low as 2 or 3 steps if you want. So that's part of the firmware and part of the customization that is possible with it. And as far as the blinking modes go, we have run through these in the other videos. To get to the blinking modes, the light has to be off, and then you do 2 presses and a holding press. And now I'm in some of the special flashing modes. This is it's in I believe it's in the good night mode right now. If I double click it again, I'll get into the bike flash, which is this one here. And then double click it again, and this is a party strobe. And this is a tactical strobe. And this is the lightning mode, which simulates the rain. And well, it doesn't simulate rain, it simulates lightning. But if it's raining outside and there's no lightning, you can put this on and make believe there's lightning if you want. And apparently this is a lot more effective if it has the diffuser on it. So anyway, those are the special modes, and double clicking just keeps going through the sequence all the time. Those are the actual those are the fun modes, but it also has the other standard flashing modes, which includes the battery check and so forth. And in the standard modes, you can also set the high and low. If you want the low to be a little bit lower than it goes to, this is the moonlight as far as the stepping interface is concerned, but you can set this to be a little lower than this, and you can also set the high to be higher than what the default is, which is 720 lumens. So let's take it outside at this time and have a look and see what it does out in the darkness. Okay, hope you enjoyed those shots out there. So this is basically what there is to talk about as far as the Lumintop EDC18 is. It was furnished by my friends at Banggood, and there is a link in this description and on my website if you'd like to take a look at it on their site. There's also a coupon code below to save a few bucks on it, and because of the Anduril firmware, you can obviously do so much with it. Now, of course, I think this is a great little flashlight for all kinds of different situations and scenarios. If you'd like to see additional outdoor shots, then I suggest to go over to my written review where the link is below, and you can read about it at lightsandgear.com and see the additional outdoor shots I have, and leave me questions or comments if you like as well regarding the Lumintop EDC18. That's our video for today. Hope you have enjoyed it. Again, questions or comments, let me know, and we'll see you next time for more from lightsandgear.com. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.